Max will be unavailable again. Stone will be traveling with us, so hopefully we can get him ready to go.
Same order with pitchers?
Yes. Yep.
Is there a does it kind of complicate things this weekend when maybe you're looking ahead to a possible must-win Tuesday into the tournament?
No, we're looking at this weekend as must-win. You know, like we're looking at each game that we need to win. We need to do whatever it takes to win. So we're not looking ahead. I mean, we know we need to just go and play well and win this weekend and then see what happens from there.
He's got a pretty solid starting rotation, specifically that Friday guy. What needs to change at the plate maybe to avoid some of these late finishes and the need to come back and win?
I think probably just getting off to a better start early in games, you know, and that's just getting, you know, on the starting pitcher a little bit earlier. You know, we've seen a lot of, you know, the ballpark's played bigger here the last 2 weeks and the fly balls are going nowhere, you know, so that's just, you know, you can't go to the plate trying to hit a ground ball either because then that takes away some aggression. So I think just, you know, we're not striking out, you know, we're not, you know, collecting a lot of consecutive really good at-bats, and really that's going to be what it takes to get those crooked numbers early, because that's what you're seeing late in the games, right? 7th, 8th, 9th innings, we're putting together multiple really good at-bats in a row to be able to set up some of these big innings.
Yeah, what is adding Silva and Boland to the lineup together, what is that going to bring to your offense? And then part of that too, I mean, having both of them in the outfield together, what has that kind of done for you defensively too on the other side of that?
Yeah, they obviously can both really run. They're both true center fielders, so they've erased some extra base hits in the outfield when they're out there together. They kind of create that 1-2 punch, so to speak, at the bottom of the order and the top of the order, depending on where they're at. As far as just that's short game, you know. So they're just provide kind of some of that spark that you need when the ball's not going out of the ballpark. You know, Boland obviously had the walk-off hit with 2 strikes, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of been in the middle of some of those late rallies where you just got to put the ball in play, and those, you know, neither one of those guys are going to drive the ball. I mean, I think there's maybe 6 extra base hits between the two of them, but on-base percentage and getting around the bases is, you know, that's where you need the guys in the middle of the order to drive those guys in.
It's a little bit of a different format, but having so many guys back from last year that they went through the long run that is the conference tournament, how important is that for this team?
Well, I don't really want to talk much about the conference tournament right now because we're not there, you know, and we still have a weekend to go win. So I'm not going to really get that much into the conference tournament talk right now.
I mean, how important is it going into a series against Purdue to have that? I mean, not necessarily conference experience, but just having to play to win every game that you
well,
get.
we've kind of been in playoff mode for the last month, and we've won 4 straight series. So the experience is starting to kind of come shine through, I think, in those situations where we've played our best baseball here in the last month. You know, we had to come out of, you know, some early season stuff with injuries and you know, just the long road trips and stuff, and we've played really well here at the end, and I think a lot of that has to do with experience.
Speaking of a guy coming back from injury, what can you say about the toughness of Tucker Jimmerman from that night against Vandy till now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, 2 months. I don't, you know, with the way he came off the mound that day, pumping his fist and blood coming down his face and some of those things that you didn't anticipate him being out for 2 months when you saw that, right? But I think that just goes to show just how mentally and physically tough that kid is, that he's doing that in that moment where he's obviously in a lot of pain. I mean, he had broken bones all over his face, nose, eye. So yeah, there was a long road back, right? And we went to sleep that night thinking we may be without him for a short amount of time. And the 2 months that he was out, I mean, that's a long road back for him. Having to keep his arm in shape, then going through the major reconstructive surgery, and then basically him not being able to do anything for a amount of time after the surgery. Not everybody can pull that off. I mean, that may have been a season-ending injury for some, but for him to be able to come back in 2 months was a testament to who he is.
And you got to know the kid over years. And
Yeah.
you see that happen to him. At the moment, how scared were you for him?
Yeah, very. I mean, when the blood's coming out, pouring down his face, and you know his face is disfigured, like you're nervous. But then again, you see him kind of walk out under his own power. It's like, okay, you know, it wasn't a line drive. It just, you know, caught him in the right spot. He'll be okay, you know. So you certainly worried initially. But again, the fact that the kid was able to walk off under his own power is just incredible.
And the fact he's doing the rah-rah, you know, after it happens, I mean, do you hope that kind of motivates guys? Like, hey, look what he just took, and he's still fired up.
Oh, and we used that, you know, while he was out with the team and the pitching staff. So trust me, that was a kind of a lesson learned of like, look, in this guy's probably lowest moment, you know, he's getting his teammates, you know, and the fans fired up. I mean, that guy's a winner, you know, when you do stuff like that.
How do you feel like you guys match up with Purdue?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've got our starting pitching is in a nice spot. Our bullpen has done a really good job. We've you know, gotten some big stops, and you know, now it's just a matter of, you know, piecing together you know, 1 through 9 in the order, just continuing to go at starting pitchers and, you know, opposing pitching staffs for 9 full innings. You know, we've made it interesting here, and you know, I'll take wins any way we can get them.
Is there some sort of irony that it is Purdue that you're playing this weekend?
Why do you say that?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of Nebraska Purdue drama that happens.
Man, that was a long time ago. I don't even remember.
What kind of development have you seen from the line? I know early on you were kind of frustrated with the inconsistency in general, but I mean, lately, what have you seen that's kind of made you happy about what you've seen?
Well, I think if you look over the last 10, 20 games, you know, we've picked up the slugging percentage, and you know, we've had a lot more big hits, and you know, just able to put together more games where we're scoring 6+ runs versus having kind of the big run game and then the 1 or 2 run game. You know, so a little more consistency there, but also just kind of the way that they fought and battled, to me, is the biggest difference maker, because we lose Max Butenbeck. He's our 3-0 hitter, right? Like we've dealt with all these injuries and some of these things that have happened, and we just kind of kept going, right? I mean, and that's a big loss. Max was really swinging the bat well, and you know, him kind of exiting the lineup, you know, we ended up, I think, 4 or 5 after that, you know, still finding a way to win. So just those guys, just again, not really caring what it looks like, but just finding a way to do enough to win games.
I know we talked about Will Walsh on Saturday, but given the time to breathe, how much enough is that for the pitching staff is what he was able to do on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, Will he's going to fill up the zone, and that's what you're going to get. And to me, the slider is a difference maker now, where we can use him against a left-handed hitting lineup, and he can get some swing and miss there. And you know, he's coming out on attack, and I think the fastball was a little better too, just in that short stint. So again, he's a guy that, if we're going to make a run at this thing, I mean, we need him, you know, whether he's in the bullpen or starting. I mean, there certainly could be a situation where we see him start another game this year. So, you know, we need some guys to continue to step up that way, like Will has, and he's just been a total professional about the whole thing.
I feel like, generally speaking, there's an area that this team can still unlock in the next couple of years where there's some untapped potential, or do you feel like kind of it is sort of what it is at this point in the season with what you guys are doing now?
Well, I think when you play this many games, you kind of have a pretty good indication of what you have. Now, I think Josh Caron had 9 home runs going into this time last year, and he ended with 16. You know, so that's something that, you know, Gabe Swanson was hitting below 300 this time last year and ended up, you know, going bonkers, you know, late in the season. So certainly those type of things can happen. But, you know, I think we have a pretty good idea of who the guys are that are helping us on the mound, kind of pared down that group of pitchers, you know, and hopefully we can get Max back, you know, after this weekend, and Stoney gets healthy, and, you know, those guys are run producers. I mean, we need those guys. So, but I don't know that there's a whole lot, you know, of things that haven't been shown already, you know, that this late in the year, you know, you kind of are what, you know, you do.
Is Luke something you can take for granted for what he does for you defensively?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think he's, and I think now that he's kind of settled in and caught a lot of games in a row, I think he's thrown some guys out and he's blocked the ball well, and he's made a difference with our staff.
What does it say about your pitching staff and just kind of the ability to do whatever's needed? I mean, you had a couple injuries, couple changes in terms of like rotation and like just roles in general. I mean, it seems like everybody's just been willing to do whatever is asked of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what you got to do to win is just whatever the team needs. And we've had to have quite a few freshmen emerge too. I mean, Worthley's been unavailable for the better part of the last month, so we've seen some young guys kind of step up in his absence, and Clark's been a little dinged up as well, and so we haven't seen him as much. So then you've seen some other guys step up. Clevenger is kind of a guy that I think of that's really stepped up, and more opportunities we give him, he seems to have done better and better with each one. So these guys want to win. They want to do what it takes to win. And again, like I said, after a rocky start to the season, for us to rebound and win the number of series we have is we got a bunch of guys that are fighting.
But you kind of piggybacking off that, you talked a couple weeks ago about building consistency.
You're right.
Consistency going into confidence, and does that give you guys some motivation going into such a big series?
Yeah, I mean, because we've played, like I said, the last 15 games or so, we've been much more consistent, and part of that is our roles on our staff are becoming more solidified, kind of more to how we built our staff to start the year. And again, it's just goes to show how one guy can make such a big difference. And again, Tucker is not the savior by any stretch. We love him. We appreciate him. What he's done is he's allowed other guys' roles to be a little more solidified with him coming back.